What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my brand new series. I'm going to be playing a new game called the Talos Principle. And when I say new, I mean a new series game. A game to start a new series on my channel. This game actually came out back in 2014. So it's been out for about 8 years now. And I gotta say, for a game that's 8 years old, it is still incredibly fun to play. It is still a beautiful game. The graphics have really held up to the test of time. And so, major kudos to the team that made this game because they did a fantastic job. This is a sort of puzzle game. You solve a bunch of puzzles and you get sigils that you then use to solve other puzzles. And it's got tremendous replay value because it takes a long time to get through, and so as soon as you're done, you can replay, and the puzzles are new and fresh again. I've probably played through this game at least 24 times, and I still have fun replaying it. This may end up being a pretty short series because I think what I'm going to try to do is just like one episode per level, and the early game levels, they may only take a few minutes to get through, so I may do like 2 or 3 of those at a time. But even the later ones, there's not a whole lot of levels in this game. It takes maybe 8 to 10 hours to play through, and so splitting that up over several episodes, we may get like 20 episodes out of it or something. But the point is, it's not going to be a super long series. So let's go. I do have one of the expansions or DLC called Road to Gehenna, which is basically a separate standalone game. It's the same sort of gameplay, same like a continuation of the story, but a whole new set of puzzles. Probably won't be doing that at all. I'm just going to stick to the core game. And I will start a new game, which will start over from the beginning. Before we jump into this, let me just kind of give you a little heads up. The game, you play as this sort of robot, and you can run around in either first or third person point of view. There's very strong like religious undertones to the game. Not even undertones, it's more kind of in your face, but it's not a religious game. It's more of a psychological sort of game that deals with matters of life and free will and your purpose for being here. And so on the very top level, it's just a really fun puzzle game, but it's got this sort of depth to it in the story that I really enjoy. So there's going to be some monologue, there's going to be some dialogue, there's going to be some recordings that I'll let play in the background because I think that they really enhance the story. So we'll jump into a new game, and here we go. So here we are at the very beginning. You can see I've already got my camera set up to one of the third-person views.
Child, you are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your maker, and I am called Elohim. Seek me in my temple, if you are worthy.
Yeah, so you can see right off the bat, very strong religious undertones to this game. But it's not a religious game. And I like it. I think it enhances the experience. So I actually like the third-person camera. You've got sort of a offset first-person camera, right offset, centered, left offset. So you can cycle between all of these. I like the third-person camera because I don't know. I think the robot looks really cool, and you kind of lose that when you are in this first-person camera view. So yeah, I'll be playing like this. These purple force fields you can pass through, but the stuff that you carry can't. So these divide various stages that you can't bring stuff out of the stages. These blue force fields you cannot pass through. They will stop you. So we need to get through here somehow. And right over here we can pick up a jammer. And if we point it at the blue force field, we see we can jam. So I'll place that, and this will jam the force field, which turns it off, and now we can get through. Unfortunately, we can't bring the jammer with us, because even if we set it down like right in front of the force field, if we try to pick it up, the game's going to make us go on the other side to pick it up. So that's unfortunate. We have to leave it behind, but that's all right. The game does a really good job introducing you to the mechanics. Just right off the bat, here's an obstacle, here's a way to get through the obstacle. It's very easy and teaches you, how to pick things up, how to use them. And now we're presented with another obstacle. There's this floating ball that if we approach, it starts to get angry. And I'm just going to tell you, if you get too close, it explodes and you die, and you go back to like the last little level gate that you went through. So there's no huge consequence to dying in this game. You just kind of restart whatever level you're on, but still a good idea to avoid it. So we got another little jammer here, and we can actually jam this, and now we can get past it and it's not going to hurt us. There's also this gun up here, which, as you might have guessed, if we step out in front of this, it's not going to be too happy. So we need to turn that thing off. And there's another little jammer over here, and so we can jam that. However, this playthrough that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to do a 100% playthrough, which means not only am I going to solve all of the puzzles, I'm also going to find all of the little hidden stars and additional content that you can find. And the very first one is actually kind of right here at the beginning of the game. So we could just run through now because we've got both the gun and this explodey ball jammed. But we can actually get through this and take a jammer with us. So even though the explodey ball, I don't know what you call these sentinels, is jammed, I'm going to jam him from this side, which frees up this jammer. So now I can come pick this up and it's still jammed. So now I can use this to jam that guy. You might think, well, what? How did that improve things? You're still jamming both of them. Well, now both jammers are on this side, and we don't need to jam that guy anymore. We passed him. So we only need to jam the cannon, and we can actually bring this little jammer with us.
All across this land I have created trials for you to overcome, and within each I have hidden a sigil. It is your purpose to seek these sigils, for thus you will serve the generations to come and attain eternal life.
Nice. Alright, so now we have all these little puzzles we can go through. We can see if we go through there, we'll find this yellow T-shaped sigil. If we go this way, we'll find a green L-shaped sigil. But I can't carry this jammer through these purple doors. It'll just drop them behind. That's alright. We actually need to get through this gate. And there's a little switch back here that will open the gate. And now we can get through and jam this force field. And there's our very first hidden star. These stars, they serve a bigger purpose than just like side quests. They actually contribute to the game. There are puzzles that you unlock by collecting these stars later on. So it's good to collect them when you can. Alright, so let's go for our first sigil. The colors do have significance. The green ones are not only the easier ones, but they unlock future levels. So we'll start with this green one. This puzzle is called Only the Two of Us, and the names of the puzzles actually tell you a whole lot about the puzzle and how to solve it. And so we can see here's one jammer to jam that force field. Here's a second jammer to jam the second force field. But to get to the sigil, we need to also jam the cannon. But as the name of the level implies, there's only two jammers. So we can apply what we just learned with the cannon and the sentinel at the beginning. We can jam this force field, that's what it's called, from the other side, and it frees up that jammer. Now we can jam this one, and now we can jam the cannon, and we'll get the sigil. I'll just work our way back out.
The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are the sigils of our name. Each brings you closer to eternity.
Don't worry, he doesn't talk this much all throughout the game. This is kind of the tutorial stage. Alright, so let's go for this yellow sigil next. Peephole. So we start out with the jammer right here. We need to get through and jam some of the other stuff, but we've got another little purple door here that we can't carry it through. So as the name would imply, we need to kind of use this little peephole. And to get that jammer, we need to jam that force field from the other side. So we'll jam that. Now we can come through and get this. And you can see there's two of those sentries that we need to jam. So I'm going to jam this one with this jammer. Then I'll come back out here and jam the other one with the first jammer. And then the sigil is on this side. I can see that one. There's 3 yellow pieces.
You will not need this sigil to open the gate to my temple, but it may serve you in times to come.
Thank you, Elohim. So as you can see in the top left corner, the green sigils will open a door, and the yellow sigils I'm collecting will unlock another tool that we can use to solve additional puzzles. So we'll pick up this jammer. I forgot what this one was called. Let me go back. A switch out of reach. Alright, so we need to get to that switch. We can't jump up there. And if we were to just run through, we would get shot. So let's jam this cannon. And then we're going to need that jammer to jam that sentry. But now we can get over here to the switch, which you can follow the wire and see that this will actually disable the cannon, so now we don't need to jam it. Whoa. Now we can jam the sentry and pick up the sigil. A lot of times these puzzles, once you reach the sigil, they'll just open some little shortcut
Well
to get
done,
you out,
child.
so you don't have to go back
Only
through
one
it.
more sigil is needed.
Another really cool thing about this game, you can look at the signs and it'll tell you which ones you've already completed. So that one has now been X'd through. I know I have found it. I can move on. These have not been X'd through, so I have not found these yet. Outnumbered. Alright, so we've got a cannon, we've got a sentry, we've got one jammer, and we can't jam both of them, so what we can do is open this force field and let that guy out. Now he's not in the way, we can jam the cannon and we can get through. So these early puzzles, they're very easy, very simple to solve, very easy to figure
My
out.
temple awaits you, child. Go forth.
But that's on purpose. This is like the tutorial stage
My
where they're
child,
teaching you the
you
mechanics
do
of the
not
game.
need to collect all sigils at once. You are free to return to this place whenever you choose.
But we're going to, because we're here and it's easy. Alright, so we need to get in here to pick up the jammer. Whoa, that was close. And then we're just going to leave that guy alone. We can get past him without jamming him. This guy, we need to get past him to that force field. But we need to jam the force field with our jammer, so we can't jam him. So we'll open up that force field. And we're just going to trap him in there. Now he's stuck, and we can get past him, jam that force field, and pick up the sigil. I'm going to go ahead and jam this guy just to get past him more easily. Oh, thank you,
Perhaps
Elohim.
this trait will serve you well in times to come.
I bet it will. Alright, so let me just do a quick little look around here. So there were 3 sigils over here. I have found all of them. There was one sigil that way, which I found, and there was one sigil that way that I found. So we found all the sigils here. Now we can open the door. As you can see, I look at the door and it gives me this little line pointing to the 3 sigils that I have found and tells me that I have enough sigils to unlock it. To unlock this, we have another puzzle, a Tetris-like puzzle. So we need to fill up this grid using these 3 pieces. Again, this first one is pretty easy, just kind of introducing some game concepts to you. Now there's these computer terminals all throughout the world. Whether or not you interact with these is entirely optional. You can skip every single one and it's not going to stall or interfere with your progress, but it's a significant central component to the story. So I'm going to interact with the computer terminals, and we'll see what we get. Because I think the story of this game is really, really amazing. So we're trying to access some sort of network. And we've got some options down here. Hi, what's this? ASD of A, hello world, dir. Let's start with hi. Unknown command. Type help for a list of available commands. How about what's this? Unknown command. Type help for a list of available commands. Let's try help. Basic terminal commands. List, display a list of available resources. Open file name, shows contents of a file. Help, display this text. Run MLA, load Milton Library Assistant, advanced interface. Or exit to close the terminal session. Let's list. So on this computer terminal, there are 3 files: welcome.email, athena6.txt, and figureitout.email. From Nadia Sarabai at the Institute for Applied. A lot of these files will have some corruption, which is part of the story. Subject, welcome to the team. Hi again, I'm sorry if I was a little odd at the meeting. I know you were nervous, but the truth is that so was I. This may be hard to believe, but you intimidate me. You're so young and you've already accomplished so much. If the situation wasn't so grim, I might even be jealous. There's also something I want to clarify. I realize that, nominally speaking, I'm head researcher here, but this is your project and everyone will respect that. And yes, I know you're not used to working like this, but as of today, you're in charge. No pressure. Let's do this, Nadia. So that was addressed to Alexandra Drinna from Nadia Sarabai. And we're going to see Alexandra Drinnan come up a lot. Athena6.txt. Chapter 6, Athena in the Garden of the Hesperides. Something did not trust them, but they moved with such grace, such nobility, that it was hard not to follow them further into the strange garden of gears and cogs. They led her to a place where the crowns of the brass trees seemed to grow together, forming a kind of chamber strangely reminiscent of a chapel. In the middle of this chamber grew a smaller tree made of bright blue steel, and upon this tree grew a single golden apple. This apple, the nymphs said in unison, their eyes aglow, confers the gift of deathlessness and true wisdom. Many heroes, and not a few villains, have come to claim it, but all faltered in the final step. For you must know that deathlessness reveals the mortality of the world, and true wisdom is unending folly. Who would take this burden upon themselves? Some say that Heracles, a bunch of garbage, gazing upon the stars and wept. So it seems to be some sort of, just, I guess, some sort of mythology story. Very similar to the Garden of Eden story from Christian Bible. Figureitout.email. From someone to someone, subject something. The way I see it, the world doesn't come with a manual. You got to figure it out for yourself. A bit here, a bit there, put it together, try to make sense of it. I'm pretty sure there is a truth, but that doesn't mean everyone who claims to know it really does. Then again, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. We live in an amazing world, and searching for the truth can be a real adventure. Plus, it's good for the brain. Anyway, just some rambling thoughts from your old man. Don't let this stuff get you down. You're young, you've got loads of time to figure it all out. Love, Dad. Oh, that's nice. Okay, let's run MLA. We've did a list of available resources. We've opened some of those resources, so next would be the MLA. Hello, guest. How can I help you today? Your query? Let's ask if it understands what we're saying. Understand is a strong way to put it, but yes. What was the first word of the last sentence you wrote? So it sounds like we can test it to see if it actually does understand. Yeah, sounds like we're just trying to test it. What was the first word of the last sentence you wrote? I'm sorry, I'm only able to process and respond to basic subject, verb, object syntax. Your query? Are you able to take offense, you pointless contraption? You cannot insult me. Ah, but it did understand what we were asking. Describe your functions. Milton Library Assistance is designed primarily to sort and classify data in the library archive. Secondarily, it facilitates user interactions with library resources via an intuitive human language interface. It also provides powerful networking and troubleshooting functions. Your query? How old are the library archives? Library resources publishing dates range from 1st of July 1995 to the 27th of June 2030 something. Your query? I'm probably not going to go through all these. How long has this system been running? The system has been active for, either that's an error or this thing's been running for a very long time. Forget the library. Can you respond to queries about the outside world? My knowledge is limited to the data in the library archive. You can ask about other topics, but my responses may be limited. Who is Elohim? Elohim is the noun for God or gods in modern and ancient Hebrew. What am I? You are logged in with a guest account. Where am I? You are currently in a support session with the MLA Human Language Interface module. Your library archive session may be resumed at any time. What is the current status of the library archive? There are 47 million resources in archive, taking up 5.4212750 petabytes of disk space. That is approximately the size of 30 billion photos, 7 million minutes of HD video, or the entire internet in 2003. It's a random fact. However, the majority of library resources are corrupted or invalid. 10.6954751 gigabytes of uncorrupted resources are indexed. What caused the data corruption? Progressive data corruption is inevitable in any system over time. Additionally, a large number of inconsistencies were detected during sorting, leading to a greater than average data invalidation. What are these terminals? Terminals provide access to the library resources. Alright, so I think that's all we can do at this point. Okay, so we got a little bit of information from that. It sounds like there's some sort of project going on, and it somehow involves us. Since I have played this game before, I know what that is, but I'm going to try to let the game reveal more of the story as we go.
Step into the light, child, and my temple will be revealed to you.
So this is how we exit the level, but we're not done yet. Every level entrance/exit has these signs that tell you all the sigils and stars that are present in this level. And you can see there's still 2 more. So let's go get those. So I am going to do the computer terminals in each level, but I'll try to provide some time indexing in the video. So if you're not interested in that and just want to see the puzzles, you can kind of skip past it. This one's pretty easy to solve. Obviously we can't get past all these guys. We can only jam one at a time with a jammer. So as we've already done multiple times, we're just going to open these force fields and let them out. And now we can get through here and grab the sigil. Last sigil in this area. Poking a sleeping lion. So this one's fun. We need this jammer, but it's so close to the sentinel that if we were to pick this up, he would explode us. Fortunately, there's another jammer. So what we need to do is we need to jam this sentinel from further away. Now we can pick up this jammer. We can jam the cannon. Now we don't need to worry about the sentinel, and we can open the force field. Not gonna lie, that one took me a little while to figure out the first time around. Now we are done with this area. And we can step through the light out into the outside world.
You walk now upon the stones of my temple, whence many gates lead. And know that I have other temples, for my garden is greater than your eye can encompass. And all these worlds I made for you.
Alright, so we stepped out of that level into what looks like a giant sort of Greek temple. There's a bunch of statues around. And as we can see, there are other levels in this temple that we can go solve with their own puzzles. There's also a gate to exit this area, But we have not found all of the sigils to complete this puzzle, so we can't actually go through the gate yet. If we head back this way, there's 2 terminals. One includes the little tool that we can see up in the top left corner, but we also do not have enough sigils to unlock that. This other one has what looks like a cube, and we have not picked up any of the sigils for that, so we actually can't unlock these 2 tools yet. So if we come look at puzzle number 2, we can see that there's or level 2, there are 3 sigils in there and 1 star. Level 3, there's 4 sigils and 2 stars, so each of these contains some additional sigils. And if you look under the sigils, you can actually see like there's a little icon that matches the tool up in the top left corner. That tells you what tools, what items you're going to need to solve these puzzles. And so that can be really useful to know. Like, I could not go to level 4 and complete any of these puzzles right now because I haven't unlocked that tool yet. But I could go do level 2. So just some information about this game and how to kind of interpret what you see. Alright, so like I said, each of these videos is probably going to be pretty short just because I'm going to stick to 1 level per video. That way, you know, if you want to play along and you get stuck on a particular level, you can just go straight to that video, you know, A2, B6, whatever, and look up each of those puzzles. So we'll wrap things up here today, and the next episode we'll be tackling level A2, which will probably also be pretty short because there's only 3 sigils and 1 star in there. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to this series. I love this game. I hope you enjoy it too, and I'll see you next time.